Hi, Tech Integration! We're going to pick up where we left off last class on the day 3 slide. So we're going to have about 10 minutes of typey time where you can do NitroType, typing.com games or lessons, or Monkey Type. Remember, escape and then Funbox gets you the weird things like earthquake mode. After we do 10 minutes of typey time, we are going to pick up on the 3D basics and the 3D problem solving activity. 3D basics, just as a review, last class, we went over the launch cycle where we investigate, plan, create, and evaluate. Last class, we did all of the investigation section. We started the plan. Today, our goal is to finish the plan, and then we will have some time to learn Tinkercad. So as a reminder, we learned a little bit about what 3D printing is. We looked at a bunch of different kind of printers. We learned some terms and we wrote them in our 3D problem solving activity. So terms like STL, which is the file that 3D printers read, extruder, the no touchy end, bed, the very bottom part that everything is built on, slicer, the program that slices it into layers, CAD, computer aided design, copyright, something that somebody else made that is illegal for you to take credit for, and filament, the goo. That is the part that melts. There's all different kinds of it. So basically, you've got your 3D CAD model, your slicer, which slices everything into lines, then your 3D printer, which lays line by line of goo or filament, and then that gives you a physical object. Last class, we also looked at this other version of it, and we learned a little bit about what won't work on a 3D printer. So things that are floating in midair, the printer goes do in midair and everything falls to the bed because of gravity. We watched a little video here to kind of demonstrate what happens if you try to print midair, aka it becomes a bird's nest, like we're right there. So you do want to print at 45-degree angles or turn your design flat so that nothing is printing in midair. We also talked a little bit, and we just started the planning section. So we looked at this video about different ideas. So remember, kindergartners can come up with many different ideas. So kindergartners are at genius level for brainstorming. That means you can do it too, because we all have this capacity. And so that we don't lose it, we need to practice it. So your goal is to come up with many ideas as possible, and that's where we're picking up today. So in the classroom of the Google, you're going to navigate your way to the 3D problem solving activity. When you look at that, you will notice that we have already filled out the investigate section where we looked at all the different kind of people that use bubble wands, what problems they encounter, what users wish 3D wands did differently, what makes 3D wands more useful, and what safety regulations do you have to consider, aka no stabby and no choky. And our problem that we are solving is designing the ultimate bubble wand. So here's the part where we wrote down definitions of terms, and here's the part where we started to brainstorm. My challenge for you is to come up with all 40. So there's no real wrong answer here, but we're going to try to do all of them, okay? You could do things like bookmark bubble wand, earring bubble wand, necklace bubble wand, and come up with different purposes for bubble wand so that they're multi-use. Sundial bubble wand, disguise bubble wand. I like to look around the room to kind of get ideas like window bubble wand, computer bubble wand. So remember, there's no wrong answers here, but we're trying to get all 40. Once you have all 40, you're going to narrow your brainstorm down to your best idea. So you are going to pick one idea that's the most creatable. So think about your skills, think about it's not very big, so don't pick something that's super giant, and you're going to write down your idea. So if you decide to do a heart-shaped bubble wand, that's where you would write it here. The describe, your bubble wand part, your solution to the ultimate bubble wand, you're going to use words to describe it in one or more sentences. So you might say that there's going to be a heart with a hole in the middle and a stick at the bottom. Or maybe you're going to have like a bunch of hearts attached together and a stick at the bottom. Maybe you're just going to do 3 hearts attached together. So that is where you're going to need to describe it in your own words. Then we're going to do a scale drawing. So I have some paper that you can use for this. We're going to try to design all 6, 7, 8, 9 squares. So that could be 9 different versions of your whatever version you pick. So this is my mustache bubble wand. It's 3 of them. You could do 3 of one design, 3 of another, and 3 of another. So I could do 3 mustache bubble wands, 3 heart bubble wands, and 3 star bubble wands. But you're going to try to draw your design. Now, it could be just 9 different versions of your mustache bubble wand. So try different variations of it. And then when you are done with that, you are going to go into the Tinkercad program and start to learn how to use it. In Tinkercad, you are going to sign in with Google. So always with the Google. Once you sign in with Google, ta-da! Then there is a Learn tab. So up at the top, there's a thing called Learn. You're going to click on that, and you are going to try the different tutorials. So you're going to see all the different products, and you're going to try to learn how to navigate the program. If you have used Tinkercad before, you are welcome to still go through, but find something you don't know how to do. There's a lot of different tutorials. When you're done with those, you can click on the Tinkercad logo and you can go in to start designing something. So create new design. This is where you're going to practice how to use Tinkercad. So try dragging out a shape. Try changing the shape of that shape by adjusting the little corners. Try making something thicker by dragging up the middle white box. Try making something go on top of another object. This little black arrow will bring things on top. Couple little tips for you. This little box will rotate around. If you just go like this, it's going to move it around on the work plane. This is like the bed of the 3D printer. The black arrow goes up and down. If you get your view all crazy, you can click the home button. You can click the plus to zoom in, the negative to zoom out. You can also right click to move around, and left click to grab objects and move them. You can turn things into holes by clicking the hole. If you highlight, click and drag, and then pick this circle merged with a square, you can group objects and it'll cut things out. You can see my hole there. The scribble's super fun to play with because you can actually draw and it'll turn it 3D. Done. Now if I wanted to make this a hole, I could click hole, drag it into, make it thicker. Oop, even more thick. If I get lost in my design, I can always click home. Now if I click drag and click group, it'll cut it out. So here's how I cut out of my shape. If I want to ungroup things and fix them, I highlight and click the separate square and circle. There's also a ruler, so if I click and drag the ruler over, and then I click on my object, I can see how many millimeters it is. If I want to edit the grid, I can click Edit Grid, change it to inches, and then Update Grid. I can turn the Snap Grid on or off. I like it off because then you can move really tiny. If you have it on, it'll snap to the next closest square, which sometimes makes things less precise. Also try looking at more than just the basic shapes. Try looking at characters, connectors, all of those fun things. Also try, when you have a shape selected, looking at all the different things you can do with it. You can hide it. You can bring it back. You can lock it so it can't move. You can unlock it. If you just click and drag a shape over, you can adjust it. So you can change the radius, make it more round and less round, change the length, the width, the height, all that way as well. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Ooh, it's also really fun to turn it into Minecraft mode, Lego mode. Those are super fun. There's also some different versions of each. If you go into bricks, that part's kind of cool. You can watch it get built. If you go back into Tinkercad after you kind of get used to the program, there are some new updates. So for those of you who have used Tinkercad before, play with the circuits. So you can now tinker with circuits on Tinkercad, and you can code on Tinkercad. So with you create new code block, you can actually code shapes to move. So if you are done learning how to navigate, try to play with those. Last but not least, debugger. So for mask break today, if you click on that slide, this is how you play debugger. So you're going to have a couple of people leave the room, or when you go outside, you can have them just go kind of stand by the building so they can't hear. And then you are going to pick a bug, something that you're all going to know, but the people that are the debuggers won't. So send about 4 people to do the debugging job. For example, you might have a rule that anyone wearing a mask has to lie, and anyone not wearing a mask has to tell the truth. So when the 4 people come back to debug, they're going to ask everybody questions, going around the circle, asking as many questions as they can. They have 2 minutes to figure out the bug. So they might ask questions like, what shoes are you wearing? And if somebody's wearing a mask, they would lie. And if somebody's not wearing a mask, they would tell the truth. So you can really make any bug you want. For example, you could have someone, if somebody's wearing glasses, they will tell the truth. Or if someone's wearing a black shirt, they don't answer. They just say, I don't know. I don't know. You can make whatever rule you want, but they have 2 minutes to figure it out. At the end of 2 minutes, ask them to guess what they think the bug is. If they get it right, party dance. If they don't, make sure you tell them what the bug is, and then pick 4 more people to be debuggers to go over by the building, come up with a new rule, bring them back to ask questions, and then guess. That is the debugger game. Homework-wise, you are going to need to finish your plan if you don't get it done during class. And optionally, you can continue playing with Tinkercad, designing and creating. And that's all there is about today. Just in case you need it, after you make your scaled drawing, it asks you to take a picture of your design. If you forgot how to do that, all you have to do is click in that box, click Insert, then Image, then Camera. Then you can hold up your wonderful design and click the picture button, and then click Insert, and there it is.